Kypster's like, you are the luckiest man alive.
And any good item that I got from my pledges went right to Ag.
See, I married Thais. I am the luckiest man alive.
Aww.
Hey,
Gag.
that's like the last time. All right, so there ends our tales for this week. A lot of fun, guys. We had so much fun. Just like, even though Kypster's like, don't do it, we had those dungeons were so much fun. So I can't wait to actually run with them again once I get my build going, so I can test out my DPS hybrid melee hybrid destro staff. We'll see how it works. All right. We're going to move on to our next section, which is our dramatic reading. So, Thais, I guess we'll take it away. We're going to be reading the 8th and 9th books in the series, so we're almost done. It's Soriel's Journal and The Right Mattock for the Job.
Soriel's Journal. 4th of Sun's Dawn. My latest research project involves plants. What destination is better than Shadowfen? There's something about this place. The moisture hanging in the air encourages so much growth. I'm sure I'll find a new species to study. 8th of First Seed. I hate rain. It's rained every day for the past month. The ground is saturated, making it impossible to do any meaningful field studies. Clearly I chose the wrong time of year to come to Stormhold. On the bright side, I've had time to rearrange the guild hall to suit myself. Well, one room of it at least. I've never had this much time or space to myself, especially after the incident at Davin's Watch. I was so sure. Well, every researcher makes mistakes now and then. It's part of the process. 22nd of First Seed. It's stopped raining at last. 1st of Rain's Hand. I've discovered a remarkable lichen specimen. It's on the spine of my lexicon of black marsh flora. 3rd of Rain's Hand. Wrote to the Archmage. Requested a new assignment, preferably one in the Alakir. I guess she didn't like it there.
No one likes Black Marsh.
I like Black Marsh. Got a problem?
Just saying.
Ouch, that was a kneecap. Ouch. Okay. The right Maddock for the job. They said the work would be hard, but Hals Mahim did not expect it to be so backbreaking. To be paid, Hals Mahim needed to fill 8 baskets a day, but his tools were crude. Small mattocks are not made for clawed hands, not when they formed from the only tools available. Rust-colored liquids seep from the piles of slag, staining everyone's scales a dusky orange. Hals Mahim crawled forward a few feet, dragging his baskets behind him, so he could pull apart a new section of earth and rock. The miners tapped apart rocks and sifted through the mud for the rich variety of reagents found in those oozing mounds. The miner beside him said, "Finished my 8th basket. You?" "Almost done with 7, Hals Mahim replied. "You're always done first, Splittail. What's your secret?" "Hard work," said Splittail with a grin. "Also, I made enough to buy a bigger mattock." "Cheater," said Hals Mahim with a good-natured chuckle. "I'm heading out now." A cascade of dry earth slid down the terraced wall toward them. The miners, used to these collapses, grabbed their workloads and quickly moved away. "There!" someone yelled. Hals Mahim and Splittail, still beside each other, looked at the slope above them. Though dust rose from the slithering scree, they could see shapes hurling toward them, leaning back on their heels, arms outstretched for balance. "Ogres! Tell the—" A blow silenced Splittail, knocking him to the ground. A dozen ogres attacked the unarmed miners, wielding nothing more than their powerful, beefy fists. Hals Mahim ducked a right hook, still clutching a basket to his chest. He had to get to the village to warn people. Ogres hadn't been seen near the mines in at least 12 months. He scrambled forward. Realizing he still held a basket, he flung it away so he could use both hands. A brute stronger than Hals Mahim grabbed his tail and pulled him backwards. And then it let out a scream of rage and pain as Splittail swung his proper-sized mattock into the ogre's hand. "Run!" Splittail cried.
Argonians, I tell you.
I love them.
You love the Argonians?
So much.
I see. All right, we're going to move on to our next section, which is the Guild Corner. So, Deltia, would you like to spotlight anything?
Yeah, I'm just still doing hard contact, and with Akatosh a lot. They're kind of more organized than my personal guild per se. I really want to learn some of the mechanics of other fights and give it out to people as I learn it too. Maybe make some guides or, do a night of learning. But I don't know them well enough. So as I learn that sort of thing, I'll be teaching my guild. So if you're looking to do that sort of thing, you can contact me in game at Deltia. There's no application or crazy thing like that. So, but we're still around, still doing stuff, and especially the dailies because they're fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, without TS Fangirl here, there's no Argonian love.
I know, like the chat is just, I'm so sad. Today was all about Argonians.
I know, she sent me a message on Twitter, a DM, going, I'm sad, I'm not going to be there for the live show. Make sure Thais is extra enthusiastic for all the Argonian speak.
Definitely am.
Nice. All right, if anyone's interested in joining the Friends and Family Guild of Tales of Tamriel podcast, you can either contact myself, that's Aggelos, Aggelos, or at Tear Eater, Teareater, in game for an invite. Yeah, just awesome guild. Not really. It's just where we hang out, chat. You can chat with all the hosts because we're all there, and mingle with other fans of the show and fans of Elder Scrolls in general. As always, for the more hardcore side of things, the Dragon Guard. He's in chat right now, but Kypster is a great friend of the show, so he went from good to great. Has started his own PvE progression guild called the Dragon Guard, which Thais and I are both in. Maybe one day we'll get the VR14 and actually run some content. He is currently accepting any VR ranked character with a serious intention towards endgame P10. So if you do have an interest, you can contact Kypster in-game, Kypster, and you can apply there. Almost have enough, I guess, for trials. So if you're up there, we probably only need a couple more. If Thais and I were max level, we would probably have enough, but we're missing.
I have to mention what was said by Mr. Bigglesworth in chat. He said, some of my favorite boots are Argonian.
That's true.
That's terrible.
They make the best. Actually, I was going to message the Bethesda store because that leather bag, I was wondering if that was Argonian leather.
That is, you guys.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, check it out. Maybe someday you'd actually get to run trials with Thais and myself if we ever get up there.
Maybe,
so,
one day.
Yeah, I do plan on running trials. It's just a matter of me getting VR14. So, yeah. It's talking Thais into letting me do the XP grinds. Maybe I'll talk her into it one day.
Well, there are none. I believe me, I get messages.
Yeah, right now there's not. So by the time I talk her into it, maybe they'll have fixed them.
Every day on YouTube.
Yes tomorrow.
Every day.
Every day. All right. We're going to move on to our next section, which is our emails. We had one email this week, and it's from our friend Esteldian. Yeah, that's right. He wrote us all about Update 5, which is perfect for today's discussion. So, Thais, why don't you go ahead and read that, and we'll hear Esteldian's thoughts on Update 5.
Hey guys, been enjoying the previous shows with all the different guests. Great work as always. Thought I would do something a little different today and actually send a mail about episode 41 before it actually happens. I am assuming update 1.5 will be a big part of the topic. Just wanted to throw down a few opinions of the update. Apologies, it is long even by my standards. Werewolf. Loving the change. I stubbornly kept with the werewolf and it has paid off. I think for DPS, the werewolf is still not where it is to justify losing your ultimate. Still think they need to add passive damage for it being slotted. But as a tank DPS hybrid I play, it's excellent. Taunt followed by transforming and unleashing some decent damage really helps boost the DPS aspect of my tank on a single target.
All right, since he was so nice and broke it all down into specific sections, Werewolf, I think we were all in agreement, other than we think it was buffed a little too much, specifically with the negatives.
Not buffed too much per se.
They took away the negative, though. You get all the passive benefits without having any of the negatives, like Vampire. I think that needs to be added back in. Delta, you'd agree with that, correct?
Yeah, I mean, what's the downside if you're not a vampire?
Yeah, now,
why not be a werewolf? I mean,
as he said, it's not buffed up enough to justify using Werewolf as an ultimate.
But you don't have to.
Which, yeah, you don't have to at this point. People are having Werewolf just for the passives and now have none of the negatives. All right.
Crafting writs. Mixed feelings here. Most of the time, I feel like ESO is trolling me. Use 100 Void Steel to make items. get given a single rank 9 sword back. Wait, didn't I just make you 4 of these? I guess it wouldn't be so offensive if I was not max level and needed inspiration, but as it is, it can be annoying. On the other hand, yesterday I got a survey and found 5 fortified Nerncrux, which was awesome. But even then, the ungrateful part of me found it frustrating that the high resource area had a bunch of Quicksilver and Galatite ore in it. Anyway, I understand the random aspect, but the extreme of either getting literally nothing or a goldmine of goodies via the survey feels like perhaps it could do with a more middle ground, especially when many players have gotten surveys with 0 Nerncrux and not enough resources to make up for what they used in the quest.
And I think that was what you were saying, but as what Deltia and I went on, there is that reward of getting all those Nerncruxes. And there's still, the thing is, you need a material boost. Like, I don't... if you spent 100 Void Steel and got 100 back, you would then never run out. Like, because you would just constantly be adding to your stack, and the price would fall again for these items. I think it's actually a good change for the economy as a whole, because now Void Steel will probably start going up in price because people want it for the dailies. Thais, what do you think?
Maybe I won't have to vendor my mats anymore.
There you go. Deltia?
Well, I completely agree. It's like, I mean, that'd be like thinking that you're going to get like potions or something for running Dragonstar Arena Veteran Mode. The whole point is to make money so you can do the content you want to do. And what there's no source to put the mats anywhere. He just said himself, you got 5 fortified Nerncrux. And what about the RP people that like the whole, you're devoting these swords to a war effort? What about them?
Yeah.
That's something for them to think about too. So I really like the system. I think maybe a couple tweaks here and there because they do have some good points. But for overall, I really like it.
Okay.
Stamina changes. Bo got some well-deserved love. Poison Injection is suddenly a serious contender, as it was doing over 250 damage a tick once the mob was under 50%. No minimum range on Snipe is also a big improvement, along with cast time reduction. Still not sure yet whether it is worth spamming this rather than another skill, but definitely worth casting at least for the damage buff that Focus Aim Morph gives. Two-handed still feels clunky. Something about a cast time on a melee attack still feels wrong. This is made worse by the fact that the animation is way longer than the cast time, so to get real benefit from the reduced cast time, you really have to be on the ball with animation canceling.
You pretty much hit the nail right on the head with that. Like, my thoughts are echoed exactly with the two-hand, and Deltia can say how much he hates Bo right now in PvP, because it is really, really strong.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Dungeon scaling. Not a fan of this so far. Seems extreme overkill to me. As someone who has a regular pool of friends to run dungeons with, Veteran and Banished cells is an unfriendly experience, which took far too long. I know this new challenge is popular to some, but if my friends and I found it hard work and tedious, what chance do casuals and pugs have?
Yep.
This is supposed to be a daily. Most people only have a couple hours to play in an evening after work. You don't want to be committing your entire evening to a daily, and I'm sure that was not the intention Zos had. If I want a high level of challenge, I will go do Dragonstar Arena, or even the new City of Ash, but I need to be mentally prepared for that kind of gameplay. A daily should be a moderately casual experience that you pop on and fancy doing, not something on par with content that only a patch ago was hailed as hardcore tough gameplay. I am all for tough content, but I do not think the dungeon dailies is the right place for it, especially as the new challenge is not about tough mechanics. It is simply a butt-ton of HP dumped on bosses and a much higher damage output, and increased well beyond what you would expect. I wish I gained that much power from a few veteran ranks. Crypt of Hearts is now an easier dungeon than these revamped ones. The new scaling is not my idea of a fun challenge. It reminds me of the pre-nerf Veteran Zones era, which was highly unpopular, and I don't see it being any more popular this time around. Despite that spew of negativity, I am not overly distressed as scaling was bound to have issues on first implementation. And better too hard than too easy, but I definitely think they need to dial it down sooner rather than later.
Nailed it on the veteran scaling. Now, I mean, when the boss in Banished Cells has 40,000 more HP than the boss in Dragonstar Arena, it's a problem, right? I mean, who thought that was a good idea?
I'm pretty sure it would just be the number cruncher. The random number cruncher did it, and now they're like, oh.
I see. I'm still on the fence right now because I don't see how making it an option would be good. That would be really difficult, and as it is right now, I guess I can see where he's coming from. Where some people would think it's too difficult. I completely understand that it can be a good idea. It just needs to be tweaked a little bit. That's. Yeah.
But I think they would almost need to tweak it on a dungeon by dungeon basis, not an overall sweep. Because if they did an overall sweep, some dungeons which aren't that difficult would then be too easy.
Right. Well, it's like the mechanics. You can't just turn up the numbers and go, we're going to give 5% more health. Because the mechanics for one boss fight, that 5% health may be a huge impact versus...
That could be the difference between pushing a phase and not.
And rage timers and all that. I mean, so there's way more than just going, we'll pump their health up. I don't think that works.
If Kypster fell off that platform while that boss had 5% more health...
Oh, we'd have died.
We'd have lost.
Yeah.
I had to bring it up again just for you, Kypster. All right, PvP. I've done enough... I've not done enough to have an informed opinion on this. My first instinct is that will be a good thing once all adjust to the changes. But that is because I found forward camp PvP very tedious and repetitive, so I am biased. I am sure those that love the camps will hate the change. Mm-hmm. Right, that's my novel done. You can cherry pick any part that may be of interest for discussion, if any. Have fun with the show.
Well, we picked all of it.
Yeah, for the whole thing.
Yeah, the PvP is, as you saw before, even with Deltia and I, we have two very separate opinions. Both valid. I mean, both are valid, both have their merits. But there were people who loved them and people who hated them. Like, I was of the notion that I hated the forward camps where it's like, we just wiped the Zerg, they all went back, and they're there again. Like, we barely managed to do it, and now they're back again in like 10 seconds. Was like, are you serious? We just pulled off an awesome, Deltia dive bombed off a cliff and nuked an entire Zerg, saved the day, and now they're right back. There was like practically no real reason other than you halted their advance for 5 seconds. And then there's people like Deltia was saying that now it takes too long to get anywhere and no one wants to fight. So
you have a great point. You have a great point. There should be a balance. I don't know how that happens, but I would like a balance where if it's whether remove or give me a mode where I can do something different. Where if people want to duel and do arenas, I'll never be in Cyrodiil. I don't want to ever touch a siege weapon again.
I think Cyrodiil will still be popular for the Emperor buff.
Well, it's a really cool concept. I mean, are you kidding? You can be an emperor in the game. That is a sick concept. But
I want that armor so bad. The costume.
It's not about skill. I mean, it's just time. I shouldn't say that only because it is a lot of skill. But someone who plays 20 hours a day versus someone who plays 2, it's very good. They're not gonna have a chance. I'm
planning on at one point just taking an entire week off of work. And pretty much that's all I'm doing is Cyrodiil PvP for Emperor. I'll be in there for like 30 hours.
You can say that, but it's way more than that. I mean, you're going to have to spend hours and hours to figure out the metas, to figure out what's the fastest way to get you're going to need people. You're going to need a team. You can't just solo YOLO anymore.
Nope.
Which I love solo YOLOing, so that's probably why I hate the forward camp change.
Nice. All right, well, guys, we've come to the time of the show where it's time for us to end the show.
Oh,
I know. Every time, I always look at our shows going, it's not going to be that long this time.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't that long.
Deltia had to check me or else it would be longer.
Yeah.
We started talking about mechanics.
I was like, here we go. Here's this two-handed sword rant. We're going to be back and forth on this for 5 hours.
Yeah, easily. I think I just need I'm going to have to go into, like, Defunct's TeamSpeak or something and just sit there and theory craft with someone to get the hours of theory crafting out of my head. Just got to do it.
They won't know anything about two-hander because no one uses it.
Yeah, no one uses it. I'm like, I don't know, dude. It's two-hander. Don't even use it.
And real quick, about the stamina stuff that we always bang on. I mean, I was doing the veteran dungeon or Dragon's Arena. I was out of stamina constantly, and I'm a Magicka user. Why? I was block casting, I was dodge rolling, I was sprinting. I mean, don't think that you're a Magicka user, you don't need stamina. And that's what inherent the problem is. I mean, the super hard stuff, you're running constantly and block casting. So I can't even imagine pulling it off. But some people do, but it's so much harder.
Definitely. All right. Well, Thais, why don't you give us your final thoughts for the show?
Great show. A lot to talk about. The update was really good, except for crafting writs.
I love crafting writs.
I love
5
them.
Nerncrux. I'm happy.
Oh, so upset. Still gonna be vendoring my stuff probably.
I'm rolling
so much mats.
Rolling in money right now. I'm just like coating myself in Nerncrux, going, yeah.
That is a strange image. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You can find me in game at Teareater, TearEater, and you can find me on Twitter at TwitQueenThais.
There you go. And Deltia, your final thoughts for the show, good sir.
Well, you can follow me or find me at deltiasgaming.com or at deltiasgaming on YouTube and Twitter. It was a great show. I mean, Update 5 is awesome. There's some things that I don't like, obviously, whatever forward camps, but this game has so much more to offer than just one. It's not a one-sided thing. The community is fantastic. I always say it, you can't beat this game. You can't beat the people in it. You can't beat the developers. And to be a part of the inside kind of scene thing, that was really cool. So there's a lot of people producing content, but we need more. And if you need a place to kind of showcase stuff, I can't say everyone's going to get published or this and that, but let's talk about it. I'm always open to help people. I can't compensate anyone because I'm not really making money doing it. But in the same aspect, if you want to try to help out the community, like Esteldon's writing guides and Party Pyro, we can put it on my site if the content fits what the site's about. So, yeah.
Okay. I do want to thank both my co-hosts. You guys are great for coming out. You guys are here. Well, Delty's here almost every week.
Almost. Have I missed a week?
Whoa, well, that's so unfair. That's so unfair.
Have I missed a week?
No, sir, you haven't.
I was
But
here.
technically, you didn't start on the show till episode 30.
Exactly.
What was my first show?
Say.
What was my first show?
25, I think, good sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
But you've been here every week
yeah,
since then.
before that, I was here a lot
All right.
too.
Oh, thanks.
All I know is I'm here every show.
You're the Rock.
Here every show.
Wait, what are we
I
gonna?
have a
Hold on,
perfect record.
hold on. Are we gonna have a show like when Thais has the child type thing? Am I gonna be holding it down? What are we gonna do? We're gonna have like me, Ark, and Esteldon and Aloha on, or how?
We might have to.
We can't have to keep this show rolling.
I don't know. Maybe I'll be in the hospital waiting room with my
Twitch
phone on
stream.
hotspot.
Well, I'm screaming in the background.
Yeah.
Two-hander is still a little underpowered.
The baby agrees. You can hear her screaming over it now. Yeah.
I like how you said the childlike thing.
The childlike thing.
What did I say it just like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
I'm terrible.
We'll figure it out. It's gonna be great.
That's like
Wow.
months away. We're good. We got
Yeah,
time.
we got time.
I'm worried.
I'm worried. It'll be great. So update 5, awesome. I love these developers, all the things they do. It's great. Two-handed, I don't know. I want to talk to the guy doing the skills. Can we just have a sit down and talk? Call me and we'll talk about two-handed. Because, I mean, let's face it, I'm the only guy doing it anymore, so you're pretty much making skills just for me. All right? So let's talk to me about this.
Talk about this.
But yeah, so if you're interested in finding me in game, that is at Aggelos. That's Aggelos. You can find me on my personal Twitter, which I always forget to give out, which is Aggelos, AGGELOS_WOF.
What's WF stand for?
It was Wings of Fate, which is our guild name as well. So there you go. And yeah. I want to thank everyone for listening to the podcast. If you wish to help support the podcast, you can feel free to donate via the PayPal link on our website or tell a friend. That's most important. If you wish to contact us with questions, comments, criticisms, the website for the show is talesoftamriel.com, or you can email the show at podcast@talesoftamriel.com. You can follow the show on Twitter at Tales of Tamriel. Facebook at facebook.com/Tales of Tamriel podcast. Also, feel free to rate and subscribe to us via iTunes. And if you missed the live show and want to catch up on past broadcasts or any of our YouTube exclusive content, which is pretty much Jealous' Saga at the moment, you can subscribe to us at YouTube at youtube.com/Tales of Tamriel. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, 1 second.